Coming up this week on NewsDepth, in his new role, boy, has Biden been busy. And this is what democracy looks like. Can music help cure COVID patients? We'll tell you. Plus, scared of shots? We've got tips on how to be brave. NewsDepth is now. We officially have a new president, and he's already getting to work. Hello, everybody. I'm Rick Jackson. Thank you for joining us. Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th president of the United States in an impressive inauguration ceremony on January 20th. The ceremony looked a bit different from years past due to the pandemic, but it was decades in the making for Biden. This was his third run for the top spot. He served about 36 years in the Senate and then was vice president to Barack Obama for 8 years after that. A limited in-person audience attended the event and extra precautions were taken because of the pandemic. Still, the ceremony included the same oath that every president before him has pledged. Karen Kaifa has the report of Biden's big day.
This is America's day.
After nearly 50 years of service in Washington and 3 bids for the presidency, Joe Biden is finally being sworn into the highest office in the land.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
Along with his Vice President Kamala Harris, who is making history as the first female, first black, and first South Asian to hold that position.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
3 former presidents, including the man Biden stood beside for 8 years in the White House, and 2 former vice presidents among the extremely limited, socially distanced audience. A bittersweet scene for a man who has spent much of his political career working towards this moment. In an inaugural speech nearly 5 decades in the making, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. said this day is not about him.
Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy.
Delivering remarks on the west front of the U.S. Capitol, looking out on a national mall not filled with people but with flags, Biden, now the 46th president of the United States, acknowledging extraordinary challenges that face the nation and his presidency.
To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity.
Inaugural festivities subdued due to COVID-19 and extraordinary security precautions. But today, a new chapter. Leaders of both parties looking on as the Biden administration seeks to unify a divided, grieving nation. Biden setting the tone for his new administration.
And my first act as president, I'd like to ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer. Remember all of those who we lost in this past year to the pandemic.
Thank you, Karen. A performance by our nation's first ever youth poet laureate was a standout moment at the inauguration. A poet laureate is a person appointed by the government to write and recite poems during important events. 22-year-old Amanda Gorman joined the ranks of famous poets like Robert Frost and Maya Angelou, who shared their work at past presidential inaugurations. Let's listen to a snippet of Amanda's poem. It was called "The Hill We Climb."
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
Wow. I mean, wow. Amanda began writing poetry as a child, but had to overcome her nerves and a speech impediment to learn to perform those poems. No one could be more proud of Amanda's accomplishments, though, than who else? Her grandmother. Brandy Cummings met up with her in Sacramento, California.
The world watched as she recited a poem at today's historic inauguration.
Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken.
No one more proud than this woman who watched from her Sacramento home. You see, 22-year-old Amanda Gorman is Bertha Gorman's granddaughter. Bertha says she's not surprised that her granddaughter was given this special honor. The young woman has a long list of accomplishments. She's a Harvard graduate and published author. It was during Amanda's performance at the Library of Congress that First Lady Jill Biden saw her and made sure the young poet would be part of the presidential inauguration.
This is her twin sister, and this is her cousin.
A grandmother's love spans the distance. While Amanda gains international fame, Bertha proudly shows off the old pictures of Amanda, her twin sister, and cousins. But the incredible moment for the family is not lost on her, a woman who grew up in the segregated South.
This day is very impactful because it's so historic. I mean, to be with the first Black woman of color who has been elected as the Vice President of the United States. I mean, that is historic. And for her to be a part of that is beyond fantastic.
As for what's next, Bertha says Amanda plans to run for president, something she's not shy about revealing.
We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
Thanks, Brandy. While it is exciting to celebrate a new president, it's important to remember that the president isn't the end-all be-all in a democracy like ours. Why don't we pause to take a minute and learn what exactly our government entails? Nick's got the scoop in this week's Politics on Point. Take a look.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln certainly laid out an impressive goal in his Gettysburg Address, for the U.S. to have a government that follows the lead of its citizens, a democracy. And that's what we're talking about today. Democracy is a form of government in which the ultimate power belongs to the people. You probably already know that the United States is a prime example of this, but we didn't invent it. Originating in Greece, the name was created from two Greek words, demos, which means the people, and kratia, meaning the power of authority. Democracy during this time, in 500 BC Athens, took the form of what is known as direct democracy. That means all citizens are equally responsible to meet and settle all matters of the community. It kind of worked at the time because the population was smaller. Having everyone work it out on their own today would probably end up a mess, though. Over time, the concept of democracy changed and developed. We figured out a way to narrow down the number of people in charge. So rather than a direct democracy, the U.S. has what is called a representative democracy. This means citizens elect representatives, think the presidents, governors, senators, and the like, from among them to be in charge. The leaders are of the people. Unlike a monarchy or a dictatorship, democracy requires citizens to participate. The responsibility to decide who gets the next chance to lead is up to the people. We have the exciting task of voting to make our voice heard. That's where by the people part comes into play. People tend to elect leaders who align with their personal views of government positions. The goal here is that they will lead with the voters' best interests in mind, hence for the people. Unlike in a monarchy where leaders rule for life, or a dictatorship where the leader rules for life or usually until they're overthrown, leaders in a democracy take turns. Term limits say how long a leader can stay in office. The president is only allowed 2 4-year terms before his or her term is up. Democracy may not be as simple as Abraham Lincoln made it sound. There's lots of working parts like checks and balances, majority rules, and minority rights, political parties, that we don't have time to get into today. But for now, if you can remember of the people, by the people, and for the people, you've got the most important part down.
Thanks, Nick. Of the people, by the people, for the people. I think we can all remember that. And it seems President Biden's getting to work on it too. During his first day on the job, he signed a multitude of executive orders. An executive order is a rule issued by the president that has the force of law. Whitney Wild was in Washington for some of the first of the Biden administration. Whitney?
With the state of the nation today, there's no time to waste. Get to work immediately.
President Joe Biden signing 15 executive actions and 2 agency actions targeting many of former President Trump's policies.
Some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis, and we're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far.
Democrats have officially taken power in the executive and legislative branches of government. Vice President Kamala Harris making it official, swearing in 3 new Democratic senators, including John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock of Georgia, who tipped the balance of power in the Senate.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Now, in the tradition of firsts, the first White House press briefing of the Biden-Harris administration, highlighting the president's new executive actions and their plan to tackle the pandemic.
The issue that he wakes up every day focused on is getting the pandemic under control.
Thanks, Whitney. Biden's executive orders covered a wide range of topics. For this week's poll, we want you to choose which of those topics you think the new president should focus on first. Head to our online poll to choose the environment, the economy, the pandemic, or equality for all. Then write to us. We want you to come up with an executive order for your school. Be sure to provide support for your order by telling us why you think it's so important. My executive order? How about I declare it NewsDepth Day once a week? Okay. Now, let's take a look at the results from last week's poll since we're here. We asked if you thought people should be paid to get the COVID vaccine. 58% of you said no, they should not. Well, one hurdle for some in getting the vaccine is a phobia of needles. Phobia means a fear of something or other. We know a fear of needles might be something that you have. In fact, Sarah from New Bremen School in New Bremen asked us, can anyone make the COVID-19 vaccine in a way that no needles are used so small children can easily get it? Maybe one day, Sarah. You know, they do have the flu vaccines in the form of a nose spray. But for now, the COVID vaccine is injected. However, there are ways to overcome the scary thought of a shot. Lisa Ryan has that.
While you probably don't describe getting a shot as fun, some might find that needle downright frightening.
In instant panic, I get clammy and queasy and nauseous, shaky, sweaty, everything that you would get in a really stressful situation.
Alyssa Moody says when she was younger, she'd even faint from her fear of needles. She isn't alone. About a quarter of American adults share that same fear. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention even estimates that 7% of adults avoid immunizations because of it. But there are ways to help yourself brave that needle. Cheryl Carmen, a psychologist at Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center, suggests overcoming a needle phobia with exposure. That means placing yourself increasingly and repeatedly closer to what you fear. For example, you can begin by looking at drawings of needles and then photos. Then try watching videos of immunizations until you can finally work your way up to getting an actual shot. Another psychologist suggests reducing anxiety by relaxation techniques like meditation. Distracting yourself during a shot can help too. Moody says that's what she does.
Keep my eyes focused on something other than what's happening on my arm or wherever else I'm getting the shot, and that makes it tolerable.
If you have a severe fear, you might need to seek medical help. It's a good idea to do that soon because it may take a while to work through it. More and more COVID-19 vaccines are becoming available, so get ready to put your brave face on and roll up those sleeves.
Thank you, Lisa. Well, remaining calm and trying to not stress are also helpful when you're recovering from an illness. Staying calm lets your body's immune system focus on battling whatever bug is bothering it. Add art or music into the equation, and you have what's known as art therapy. Art therapy is the use of music or art to improve someone's mental or physical health. At Sharp Healthcare in California, they're expanding their use of the technique to help patients and hospital workers during the pandemic. Jared Aarons has that story.
And go ahead, breathe in.
For Martha Uribe,
And breathe out.
music therapy has been an integral part of her COVID-19 treatment.
Here comes the sun.
Spiritual, you can say that, because it makes you feel alive. And it gives you a lot of hope, a lot of hope.
Hope that Sharp's art therapy department is spreading throughout their system during the coronavirus pandemic.
It's been really powerful and meaningful, and we find ourselves very busy.
Amy Andrews, Jay Jang, and Sofia Alvarez have expanded the program since the pandemic started, adding virtual art and music sessions done through phone calls from empty rooms.
So I was thinking maybe I can just sing you a couple songs.
It's part of Sharp's mission to treat the person, not the disease.
We're not just looking at patients' illnesses or their sickness, but just treat the person as a whole and trying to bring different aspects of their life and improving the wellness of their life.
Thank you for being a nurse.
They've also expanded it to nurses, doctors, and staff, helping them cope with the stress of the job.
We're really supporting our team to keep going through this. It's a long run, and so we want to make sure we take care of each other.
Uribe says it's comforting during a scary time when her family can't visit. Her favorite song, "You Are My Sunshine."
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
It makes you feel so good, especially you have the curtain open and you'll be able to see the sun outside. Yeah, you open your eyes and say, I'm gonna be outside and I'm gonna feel the sun again.
A simple way to bring light into a dark time.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Thanks, Jared. Well, let's stick with arts for just a minute, but switch to a different form. Let's talk language arts. Last week, we asked you to write to us about your favorite books. Let's see those recommendations by opening up our inbox. Ellie from Biomed Science Academy in Ravenna wrote, "My favorite book is Lily and the Great Quake by V.D. Bybee. This book is about a girl and her brother who live in Chinatown. There's a sudden earthquake and they have to survive it. If you love historical fiction like I do, then this is the book for you. I definitely recommend. This book is a 5-star rating from me." Here's one from Everett at Orchard Hills Intermediate in North Canton who wrote, "My favorite book is The Puppy Place Buddy by Ellen Miles. It's all about a mutt named Buddy and his sisters, Coco and Cinnamon, and their mom. A family called the Peterson family fosters Buddy and his family. A friend of theirs gets to keep the sisters, and a bookstore owner gets the mom. And lastly, the Peterson family gets to keep Buddy, and there are like 50 more books in the series. That's my favorite book." Will from Woodland Elementary in Liberty likes this one. "My favorite book is The Book with No Pictures by B.J. Novak. I like this book because it has silly words and dialogue. My second reason is that you can visualize funny skits inside your head. One last reason is that it makes the reader say funny things like, 'I have a hippo friend named Boo Boo Butt.' That is why my favorite book is The Book with No Pictures by B.J. Novak." Sounds funny there. Well, here's one from Naya at Avon Heritage in Avon. "My favorite book is the Warriors series by Aaron Hunter. I enjoy reading this series because there's lots of adventure and action. Sometimes there's even a little mystery too. Best of all, everything is from a forest cat's perspective. All in all, the Warriors series sure keeps me on my toes." And finally, Logan from Troy Intermediate in Avon left us hanging. "My favorite book is Land of Stories, Worlds Collide by Chris Colfer. If you want to read it, I won't spoil anything because it's the last book in the franchise." Wow, we've got some major bookworms in the audience, and those pitches have me ready to hit the bookstore. A pitch? Oh, that's a short statement trying to sell or promote something. The girl in our next story knows a thing or two about the perfect pitch. The 6-year-old Girl Scout from Arizona took a different approach to selling cookies this year, and it's gone viral. Mark Curtis has her story.
Hello. Meet 6-year-old Allie Schroyer. She doesn't know it yet, but this sales pitch to her neighbor's doorbell camera is about to go viral and produce a huge number of sales.
Hello, I'm Allie. Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies?
The owner of the home sent the video to Allie's mom, who, like most moms, then posted it on Facebook.
Would you like one? Or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5?
Allie may be only a first grader at Cheyenne Traditional School in Scottsdale, but she is a natural entrepreneur and offered her customer a unique way to pick out what cookies to order.
What's your favorite color? Because the boxes are those colors. Then maybe your favorite color, and the box is that color, and then you can choose it.
Allie's mom says even though it's been a little tougher these days to sell cookies because of the pandemic, she couldn't help but be blown away by Allie's sales skills.
Her sales pitch was so successful that she sold over 200 boxes in the first 24 hours.
The business model for the cookie biz has also changed. Each scout now gets their own website to take orders digitally.
And so it's great. Everybody can order online, and then we have their name and address, and then they can select to have it even delivered to their house.
It kind of has been harder because it's like it didn't know what to say, so I just said what I think I should say.
Well, Allie, if the Girl Scouts motto is to be prepared,
would you like to buy any?
Then be prepared to get a bunch of new orders.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Let's stick with business news and go to Florida. A new coffee and ice cream shop there is offering employment to folks with developmental disabilities who often have a hard time finding work. Francesca Constantini visited Rye's Coffee Company and Nye's Ice Cream Sandwiches and filed this report.
Thank you. At the register, Eric Sklangon greets every customer with a smile behind his mask. From coffee to ice cream, Eric makes sure each item is perfectly made to order.
I like being a cashier. I like meeting new people.
Eric works at Rice Coffee Company and Ice Cream Sandwiches in downtown Sarasota. While the shop is less than a week old, it's bringing a lot of traction among locals.
We're really excited about working here.
There's a mission behind what we're doing, and the mission is to offer job opportunities to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Bieber Shriver is the co-owner of Rice and Nice, and he wanted to provide his employees with a chance of a better life.
Unemployment issue for this population is a big problem for them. 80% of these guys that can work are unemployed.
It was through meeting Bieber where we decided, maybe ice cream can kind of move into the special needs category.
Partnering with facilities like the Haven and Easter Seals of Southwest Florida, employees earn a paycheck and a business card, but most importantly, financial independence.
It's an inclusive workplace, but then there's the other side of it where customers come in and they get to meet somebody that maybe they've never met before, somebody that has Down syndrome or autism, whatever the issue may be, and they can just hopefully open their eyes and open their hearts and realize that these are just regular people, and the big phrase I like is to end the fear of difference.
Thanks, Francesca. Okay, one last feel-good story. It's about some of you. Time to hand out our NewsDepth A+. Did you know that Ohio has tree frogs and that when the weather gets cooler, they like to bury themselves in leaf litter to hibernate until spring's warmer temperatures arrive? I didn't know it until Mrs. O'Toole's 4th grade class told us all about their impromptu rescue mission. This week's NewsDepth A+ award goes to Mrs. O'Toole's class for using their research skills to help Mother Nature. Like many of you, the students at Pattison like to head outside for some fresh air and a mask break. One morning, the class noticed a frog on the wall of the school. Nearly a week later, the students used their science skills to observe that the frog was still up on the wall. The frog was up there for a long time, they write. We were getting worried he would starve or freeze. That's what Cadence told us. I suggested that we do some research and figure out what kind of frog it was and if it would be okay up on the wall, added Natalie. In their research, they were able to identify the frog as a Cope's gray tree frog, and that these frogs, when not in trees or stuck on buildings, hang out in piles of leaves. The class did a great job learning about the frog and habitat. They decided to name it Pancake because it is sort of flat, explained Mrs. O'Toole. With some quick thinking and help from Mr. Meek, the building custodian, they were able to rescue Pancake. After a quick ride in a pencil box back to the woods, Pancake took a few hops and disappeared into a pile of leaves. Through some additional research, the class learned that these amphibious acrobats like to climb up the sides of buildings to catch a tasty winter treat, moths. The class also learned that they can freeze, thaw, and refreeze all winter long. That's crazy. So this week's NewsDepth A+ award goes to Ms. O'Toole's 4th grade class and Mr. Meek at Patterson Elementary School for researching and teaching the NewsDepth team about Pancake the Gray Tree Frog. Great job using those research skills. Ooh. Did you hear that? Yeah, Newscat probably getting pretty antsy. Let's see what she's pawed up for this week's petting zoo. Newscat, what you up to? Is she listening to the radio? Oh, must have heard something. Well, she's off to work now. Okay, let's see. She found a petting zoo. It travels to people during the pandemic. To find out about the furry visitors, click the petting zoo button on our website. Thank you, Newscat. And that's going to do it for me. Now it's your turn. Send us a mail, and there are plenty of ways to stay in touch. You can write to us. We're at 1375 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. Our zip code's 44115. You can email us at newsdepth@ideastream.org, or you can tweet us, our handle @NewsDepthOhio. Plus, you can catch all of our special segments on YouTube. And if you're old enough, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick Jackson. We'll see you right back here next week.
NewsDepth is made possible by a grant from the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation.